there, viewers. Welcome back to the Self-Made Auto Channel. Got a 2008 Ford Taurus. I don't know what engine's in it, but it's big and it's got a bad wheel bearing, along with a bunch of other problems. The left rear spring, as you'll see, is very much busted, wrapped around the strut, and the right front bearing is equally as bad as the left rear bearing. However, the only thing we got authorized to repair is this left rear bearing, so that's what we're doing. As you can see, we already got through the hard part, aka taking the wheel off. Find out what Torx that is. That is a T40, so we'll buzz that out. Looks like somebody just put rear rotors on it not too long ago. Wow, that could have used a little something. We're gonna give a little reach over here. Mother lover, we're gonna take the caliper brackets off. Couple 15 mil. Kind of difficult to show back here. We'll get this out of the way. There's a couple bolts there. We'll get them loose and we'll get on them with a ratchet wrench and buzz them off. It might be kind of a pain because, like I say, the rear spring is busted pretty bad, but they didn't want to fix that, I guess. Or maybe they will at a later date or something. We're just going to kind of leave that sitting right there. Boom. Well, that was easy. Now we're down to the meat and potatoes. She's pretty noisy. We'll find out where the wire goes. Round and round. That direction. Looks like we have 4 bolts here that hold it on. Should be a real treat. Hopefully she comes off nice and easy, like they always do. I think what we'll use is our bolt jacking method, because I'm sure this is going to be stuck in there quite well. Maybe not though. So this one, the speed sensor is separate. I don't know if you guys can see it. It is not part of the bearing. I made a mistake, but so we don't need to follow those wires out. So we'll just take and hopefully get these bolts out. These are the ones that hold the bearing in. So there's 4 of them total. I can reach up through here. Whoa, fella, calm down. Come on, baby. Too steep of an angle for that one. We'll do something different. We'll get the other 2. Oh, what do you think? Hey, some days you get lucky, Mr. O. Just like that. Piece of cake. I think perhaps it wasn't seized because it's missing the majority of this upper spot here, by design. So it has less, area to seize between this gap here and that gap there. I mean, it's probably less than a third. It's probably at least a quarter of it. Has less spot to grip, and it only goes in, I don't know, 3/8 of an inch or so. So let's give her a little shine. Give her a little spritz of the fluid film. That way there it comes out easy for the next guy. But before I love tap that in because you just got a little bit to go. I'm going to line up the bolts because the last thing I want it to do is to go in and not be perfectly lined up. Then we're going to pop the bolts back out, put some Loctite on them. Let me tighten them, but let me get a couple started here. And we'll very gingerly give it. Why don't you feel 100%? It doesn't feel 100%. I do not believe there is a right side up. And I know we cleaned it out good. There was just a bunch of aluminum oxide in there. But there is this tin piece here. Now I do not know if that is part of the OG bearing and that needs to come out or not. Let me have a little gander here. That seems awful snug there, Mr. O. Don't seem right, fella. You see that tin, this tin cover? Wheel speed sensor is on the other side of that. Let's have a closer look at our bearing that we took out. You know, obviously this is our old one. This here is our new one. I'm going to get a couple measurements of the overall height of this and the diameter just to be sure before we tap it back into that metal cup, so to speak. And if we're right, then we're just going to give her hell. Okay, according to my micrometer, they are the same, like exactly, to the 0.01 of an inch. I wonder if it would be wise to just tap that out, clean the corrosion, put this on the bearing, and then put it all back together. That would probably be the wiser plan, young man. I don't know how stuck that is in there. Probably very stuck. Of course, we've already got it lubed up. I'm going to try to work this a little bit. Alright, come on, baby. She looks like she's wiggly. Might have to go around on the back side and tap it, perhaps with a brass punch or something. Yeah, let's do that before it gets deformed too much. It appears to be broke loose around the top half here. I'm gonna go behind it and give it a little whack. No, it's not as exposed as I thought it was, folks. Let's see here. We're gonna need a lot longer punch. Bingo! We got her. And that is the problem, folks. That thing is super corroded underneath there. There's our speed sensor. We got to be careful of it. Of course, we got everything ooey and gooey now. That's handy. Let's get the rest of this corrosion out of here. And I'd be willing to bet that this will fit good when we're done. Yeah, flatten her out. Still feel some slight imperfections. Even brought us a real hammer. Oh, dang it. Oh, Loctite's leaking all over. I think we're in good shape. At least I'm gonna say that we are. Where that speed sensor is, you got to go in manual like this. Just get out some of the crusties. Now a lot of folks are typing right now like, why don't you remove the speed sensor? Well, you can't. Not in our state, or at least in our area of the world. If you try to take that speed sensor out, you'll just be buying a new one because it's just as crusty as the rest of it here, so a lot of big chunks on this thing. Yeah, aluminum around here is just as bad as steel as far as corrosion. You just get aluminum oxide instead of iron oxide. Just pretty similar. Alright, so that should fit now, I'm thinking. Let's give it the old college try here. Oh, like a glove. See, we didn't have to beat it in. We'll blast her down again. Alright, and then we don't need the bolts here now. Take them back out. And then we'll re-Loctite these with some blue, and we'll stick the bearing in. That's a whole lot better. Just remember, folks, if something doesn't feel right, it's probably not. So if you're putting your bearing in and you got to give it any more than just a real light love tap, there's something wrong. In this case, if we had tapped it more, thinking that we were going to get the tin, cover there to go back on, probably what would have happened, we can speculate, is we would have banged it right back into the speed sensor, broke the speed sensor, and then we'd been in big trouble. Be sure to torque that down to factory specs. Obviously, as we always do. Now make sure the inside of your rotor is clean where the rotor meets the hub. And on this one, doesn't matter where you get it, it's always in the right spot. Now those, you don't have to kill them. Whoa. Push back the rust. Be careful with backing plates. You push too hard and they just don't exist anymore. There's a fine balance of where they're good and where they're not. And that right there is perfect. Nice. I'll slide the old brakes back over. Perfect. And then we'll grab the caliper bracket bolts, little Loctite, put them back in. Factory specs. Always, always, always. Well, that's it, folks. Changing the rear wheel bearing in your Taurus. I imagine the Sables are the same way, this vintage. This was only a 2-wheel drive, so it wasn't too bad. You can get these cars in 4-wheel appeal too. Pretty much the same process, except the axle shaft goes through there. I don't think they have the tin cup on the back of them, would be my guess, because there's an axle shaft there. I don't recall doing one on an all-wheel drive. Don't see many of these cars in our area. So that's that. What I do want to see is I want to see you in that comment section down there, commenting, subscribing, ringing the bells, doing everything you do. Find us on the Insta, the Facebook, everywhere else. And just remember, viewers, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.